Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/Malicious Compliance. In today's episode, you demanded my entire team be at the office for the 4th of July. Fine, enjoy paying for the office party. Tell me to smile? Bet this isn't what you meant. Let's threaten the person on sick leave. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. You demanded my entire team be at the office for the 4th of July. Fine, enjoy paying for the office party. So this starts on Monday, the 13th, as I receive an email from a VP not over my department, or bad VP. I am told that my team will be required on the 4th. I politely tell them no, that our team has been scheduled this day off and people already have plans. My team is the IT team, and, as many of you know, IT team gets shafted every time it can get shafted by any company. So over the course of the week, I let my team know what is happening. I let them know I have been reaching out to higher-ups to fix it. I also tell them that if their plans are ruined, I will make it right at work. Over the course of 3 meetings, it started to look like things will not go my way. In response, I send an email to the CEO of the company. All of my higher-ups know I was going to do this and said I should do this as he is very family-oriented and that he would not allow anyone to work on a national holiday. Well, he is on vacation in the Bahamas until the 6th. But his assistant informed me he would look at this after he gets back. Repeatedly slams head into desk. So I tell everyone that it will be work from home, and that we will be setting my cell phone as priority in the call routing. Meaning I would get most of the calls. To be honest, I was expecting almost 0 calls. Especially since I was asked to send out a notification that IT support would cover the 4th of July. I never sent that email out. A day later, I was given another outrage. I was told in an email that my employees would be required to be at the office, and no one was allowed to work from home. They would be checking the door badge-ins to verify we were at the office. I asked why in an email, and they said that they wanted to make sure no one was playing video games at work. We normally work from home about 2/3 of the week, and video game playing is a normal occurrence at work. So I walked into the person's office. After a very long conversation where she was losing the logic war with me, she told me that it's just IT, you guys don't have lives. No, I am not kidding you, this is exactly what they told me. I reported this to my VP, who said, I will take care of this. It likely won't be until after the 4th, so get creative. I know this man well. We have worked together a long time, and get creative is code for corporate. I asked the person requiring us to be at the office if they cared if we had an office party. They said no, as long as it did not interfere with the call flow. Even suggested using my new company card to pay for it. Go wild. Pro tip, never tell me go wild. At this point, it was Tuesday the 21st. I let everyone know what's up, but that I have something planned. I asked who had things planned for that day. 2 people told me they were planning to shoot off fireworks with their family, but the rest were planning BBQs with friends. I write up an email to the VP over my department and the bad VP. I tell them all that I let everyone know. We all were expected to work until 8 p.m. Monday. Per the conversation with the bad VP, I will be having an office party as a sort of sorry to the guys and gals who got shafted by this decision. The bad VP replied again. Thank you for your understanding. Also, yes, I would expect an office party if I had to work on the 4th of July as well. So go wild and enjoy your time. Use your new company credit card if you need to cover a few expenses. Also, I should not have to remind you or anyone else. No fireworks or alcohol on company property. So now it is time to tell you about my office. See, a while back, the IT team was moved from the main corp office and into a smaller building by itself. It has a nice gaming break room, a decent-sized gym, and a full-on drink bar. Soft drinks, mind you, no alcohol at work. Out back is a big patio that crosses county lines as soon as you cross a small creek. A creek that just so happens to have a footbridge over it, leading to an empty field. I start making phone calls. Monday, June the 25th. I call up everyone into an hour early meeting that morning. I explain to them all that I will be making it right. I asked everyone to invite their friends and family to the office. No supplies will need to be brought by anyone. I tell them all that this will be non-alcoholic, but that I will be planning something for everyone. I told them to expect all food to be provided and they don't need to bring anything, unless they want to bring some fireworks. I.e., they won't have to spend a dime. The 4th comes and the entire day, we did absolutely no work. No tickets, no calls came in. Well, 7 calls did come in, but from the same person. The bad VP. She was calling to make sure we were manning the phones. All of us were playing video games or watching movies. 6 p.m. rolls around and everyone was told that the food was ready. People were expecting hot dogs, hamburgers, maybe a bratwurst or 2. What they got was a full-on barbecue feast with pizza and other foods. There was smoked brisket, spare ribs, smoked sausage, smoked turkey, both kinds of tater salad, coleslaw, green beans with bacon and onion, potatoes au gratin, pizza from 2 different places, excellent hamburgers, and bratwurst hot dogs. On the dessert side was cake, very good cookies, 4 different kinds of pies, and about 2 pounds of fudge. Families and friends started showing up at around 6-6:15-ish. Some brought alcohol, but I told them they would need to leave that in their cars as I was not that crazy. Some were not too happy about that but agreed as it was a free dinner for random strangers. So let me set the scene for you. I am out there with all calls routed to my cell phone, and everyone just having a good time. We have a ton of people there just enjoying the fun night, chatting about random stuff, eating the food, and occasionally lighting off some sparklers or throwing firecrackers into the stream. It's not stocked and only 1 foot deep. My VP, not the bad VP mind you, showed up with his family and brought some water balloons for the kids and man-children. Around 8:30ish it's getting dark and people want to shoot off more than the simple sparklers and firecrackers we had been using. The VP over the IT department had everyone cross the footbridge, over county line and off company property mind you, and we set up a big wooden board using it as our launch pad. We fired off what we had for an hour or 2, and sort of just hang out for a little while. At around this time people were tired and ready to head home. I told people to take home leftovers, within reason. We all clocked out at 8 and no one left until about 10:30. The bad VP did call once more while we were out back at the party. It was 7:50 and she called asking for a status update. My exact words were, "Well, you were the only one to call us today. The rest of us are on the back patio enjoying the 4th of July shindig." She simply acted like my boss and said, as long as no alcohol or fireworks are on company property, I do not care. We ate roughly half of the food catered. The rest was taken home. A small group volunteered to stay behind to clean up, including my VP. We had a funny conversation about how this will make waves with the bosses. But he said he had my back and asked me how much this cost. I just gave him a sideways look which made him laugh. Tuesday morning, I submitted the expense report to my VP. This email would inevitably make its way over to the bad VP and up the chain to the CIO of the company. It would be a bad idea to give out the exact cost of the party, mind you, but I can tell you that because of this 4th of July party, new rules were put into place. Any expenses of over $4,000 or more must be approved by the direct supervisor, VP over the department, and the full expense report must be sent to the financial department for review after the fact. Hint, the party cost over $6,000. The barbecue was the most expensive part. I did not order from a low or mid-tier place. The place I ordered from has consistently been on the top 10 in the DFW listing for the last 30 years. I ate at that place so much I made friends with the owner. The best barbecue I have ever had. The pies and cakes were custom made by a bakery and the cookies were made by a boutique cookie place. I had 10-12 packs of Coke, Coke Zero, DP, DP Zero, Pepsi, and Pepsi Zero. I bought 5 pepperoni, 5 sausage, 5 cheese, 2 Hawaiian, and 3 cheeseburger pizzas from one place, and nearly the same number from another place. Excluding the cheeseburger ones, I subbed out those for a different specialty pizza from the other place. The burgers were from an excellent burger place that did catering. I know that owner well. He brought his kids for the night of fun after he heard what was going to be happening. He was also the one who brought the brat dogs, as he recently added those to his menu. This was the most expensive office party in the history of the company. The only things more expensive than this were some business meetings that the CEO rented private rooms in high-end restaurants for. As for the CEO, he was outraged. Not at the cost of the party, mind you. He knew that the party would not have been necessary if people had been allowed to go home. He was outraged that IT was the only group required to work on that day. When I submitted the logs showing how we received no real phone calls, no service requests, and that we basically watched movies/played video games during our shift, he had heard enough. He apparently sent out a scathing email about work-life balance and the importance of our holidays to every upper management. It was kind of funny, as people wanted me to get in trouble for what I did, but the reality is other departments have done similar things in the past, just not on the scale that IT did. The bad VP was admonished quite effectively and sent me an apology email. I forwarded it to the team with a strong hint to not reply. Then my VP let the CIO and the CEO know about what the bad VP said. You guys don't have lives. The bad VP did actually confirm she said it in a meeting with her EVP. It did not go over well. I have never heard people yelling in an office meeting like that before. The CEO of the company came to our office and yelled at her. Not sure if she was fired, but she is not at work today. In Active Directory she does not have the down arrow of death, so not 100% what happened to her. I know she lost whatever clout she had at this company with her attitude. If anything more happens, I will update. But so far it looks like the fallout from this is I caused a new rule to be put in place about how much you were allowed to spend at one time. The bad VP may or may not be let go/forced to resign. I know she got yelled at. Strangely, there is now no longer any pushback for my bid to get everyone back to working from home. Can I work for you? This is magical. Me too? My skill set includes knowing how to answer phones, how to turn the computer both off and on, and how to Google. I also play video games, sometimes at work. If I lived in DFW, I'd apply for L1 support. I have phone, customer service, and technical expertise spanning a little over 20 years. And I've never worked for a company that would treat their people so nicely. Amazing. I bet your department loves you, and I bet they work their tails off for you. Top 10 barbecue in Dallas/FW area. I'm sitting here drooling. And chuckling. Me too. I'm about to visit family in DFW and want to know where the good barbecue is so I can eat some. I live in DFW. Please tell me what the barbecue place is. LOL. And also the company, I also know how to play video games. That you guys don't have lives thing just blows my mind. It's like the attitude bigots hold towards various minorities, a complete denial of agency and worth. Treating other people like, well, people shouldn't be that hard to figure out. Everyone wants a day off to spend time with friends and family relaxing. I'm in IT and spend most of my time on the computer at work and at home. I still had the 4th of July off and spent the day hiking and just enjoying life to its fullest. Everyone deserves to be treated with respect, full stop. We all have lives outside of work. Just because I enjoy video games doesn't make my time worth less than someone who enjoys watching football. OP, mad respect for how you handled that. Wow. That's pretty crazy. We had a VP complaining about unentered expenses because our company cards auto-populated our expense software. So they decide to send out a nastygram calling out all those who have expenses that haven't been attributed to either a job or corporate event. In their haste, the 5-figure tab from a strip club was included. At a time when the rank and file were pressed to reduce any and all unnecessary expenses. There were some rather unpleasant workers after that. Spectacular. Thank you for doing that. I work in InfoSec and we always have to work over holidays. Love that you did this for your team. They love you too, you definitely just earned some loyalty points for sure, and I hope the higher-ups recognize that, especially during a time when it's really difficult to hire in the tech space. Tell me to smile? Bet this isn't what you meant. After a long stressful day at school, I was picked up by my dad to go to his house. My parents are divorced. You could see in my face that I was tired and just wanted to get home. I was in the backseat staring out the window and my dad decided to say, "Come on, smile. Don't look so miserable." Most people don't smile if they're tired or stressed, common sense. I'd had enough of being told to smile by anyone, old men, my parents, etc. So I decided I would follow his request. I put on the biggest, craziest, most Joker-like smile I could form and held it until I went to bed. We had to stop at the shops to get dinner. Everyone thought I was crazy, but it was worth it. He was completely and utterly embarrassed. Tried to get me to stop as we were getting stared at. Alas, I did not, as I wanted to prove my point. When my middle school teacher told me to stop being so grumpy and just smile some more, I took a pinking pen and drew a Joker-like smile on my face. He stopped telling girls to smile after that. Why do grown men always have the itch to tell girls to smile? It's dumb as hell. Years and years ago, a girl I knew was told to smile, and I'll never forget her response. She was maybe 11 to 12, I can't recall. Rearrange the letters and smile and you get limes. That's relevant here because they're almost as sour as I am right now. My mother put me in beauty pageants when I was in high school. At one of them, there was a talent portion. I sang Memory from Cats, it was the 80s, in full makeup. I had parents of other contestants telling me I did a great job. Pageant parents are notoriously competitive, so it was surprising. Ultimately, I didn't place. I asked one of the judges why I hadn't placed, and she responded in a southern drawl, "Well, you were wonderful, but, honey, you didn't smile." I looked at her and snapped, "But, honey, I was singing about death." That was the last pageant my mother made me do. A smile isn't always necessary. I had a teacher stop an entire lesson until I smiled. I have RBF and can't help it. People are strange. I would have got up, went to the principal's office, and told them my teacher refused to continue their lesson until I smiled for the rest of the class period. Did you smile or did you keep the face until the bell rang? Please tell me you did the second one, and then reported her to the principal for refusing to teach the class. The one thing I miss about masks. No one telling me to smile. All these people in here talking about how horrible she was to her dad. And I'm over here thinking if my kid did this to me, I'd take them for ice cream for being such a little awesome weirdo. P.S. I don't tell my kids to force a smile when they're in a bad mood just to make me feel better, but if I did screw up and they did this, it would be so freaking awesome. Let's threaten the person on sick leave. I was working in a plastic factory a few years back. The machinery I was working on mostly did plastic for hay bales. The group I was in consisted of 4 people including me, and 2 of them did close to nothing while me and this really old dude had to do their part 2 every day. I was working 6 days a week doing the job of 3 people, and one time I overslept, and when the manager called me I quickly drove to work and was approximately 15 minutes late. The old dude retired and I was left with the 2 guys that left the site constantly to do God knows what, and one time the robot that usually does the packaging didn't get the plastic roll in its package and I went to put it in. When you enter the area the robot is working and the sensors immediately stopped the robot. The robot for some reason suddenly started moving and punched the back of my right hand and it was crushed. I got an ambulance to ER and I got 1 month of sick leave, and when I went to turn it in my boss jumped. I explained to him that my hand also has nerve damage and I left to play Witcher. 4 days into the sick leave, my boss calls me and tells me that if I don't get back to work earlier, he would have to reconsider extending my contract, and after stuttering a bit, I told him I understood, and that was the end of the call. I went back the next week, and when I got to my machines, the orders that we had before my sick leave were still ongoing and hadn't made almost any progress. I walked through the cafeteria into the office area and told my boss I changed my mind and am gonna quit, which made him really angry. Told him good luck with the important person order and made my leave. The huge factory is next to a bunch of really small towns, and the word spread about the case, and no one would fill my or the old man's positions, and they had to close the part one was working in. Here in the UK, a factory robot activated during maintenance due to defeated/removed safety measures, killing a worker performing maintenance. The company and its owner were separately convicted of manslaughter. The company was fined £700,000 and the owner was sentenced to 5 years in prison. I hope you sued the company. The threat to non-renew due to injury was probably illegal. Since you were working on their premises, you were covered by workman's comp insurance or business liability. Should cover lost wages and medical costs until recovered, with your employment contract extended for the recovery period. Never quit. Have them fire you and then sue for wrongful dismissal. Would that still apply if the contract just runs out? And should have taken the 1 month paid sick leave. Then sued. And this is why we don't rely on sensors. Lock out, tag out, discharge stored energy, and only then enter a robot. You're lucky it was just a hand injury. People are killed doing what you did. I never understand the logic of these types of managers. You're short-handed and struggling, so the answer is to threaten the one person who's doing the work? So when they get fed up or call your bluff and leave, where does that leave you? Nice story, but not exactly malicious compliance. You came back to work, then quit. Lockout tagout not available for this machine? Automatic sensors are not reliable as cutting off power and locking the switch with notification. If you made it to the end of the video, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe and share, and we will see you in the next video.